What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Reel Junkies. I'm your host, Ferran, here again with my man Vito, coming to you with a review of Tron Ares, which is the third Tron movie, if I'm not mistaken. I know, candidly, I'm going to just say it up front. Vito has seen all the Tron movies. I have only seen this one. So if during this review, one of us is talking like they have context on the entire franchise and the other one is not, that would be why. So I really didn't know what to expect going into this because, like I said, I've not tapped in with any Tron movies. I didn't see the original 1982 one. I did not see Tron Legacy. So all the knowledge about the Tron universe I got from my first watch of this movie, which I will say I don't think this movie was incredible or amazing or anything like that. It didn't blow me away or anything crazy. It was okay, but I did like the world building enough and the mythology behind Tron that they showcased in this movie. It was enough to at least make me interested to go back and watch the original and Tron Legacy, which I think came in 2012. So there is at least
2010.
that 2010. So I'm at least interested now after seeing this to at least go back and revisit and kind of fill in the gaps.
Honestly, so I seen some discourse online about it already, the movie, before I seen it. Some people were saying like, oh, it kind of forgot what it was. After watch, I had seen the second one before I ever seen the first one. Never seen the first one before until my day. It was when I watched I rewatched both of them. But I'm watching this movie and I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with the second one? It's kind of like I don't want to say anthology series because it does kind of the all three movies do follow the same kind of principle. I mean, you've seen it, so it's really about AI, and the dangers of shit. They put it in a nice little fun way, but the dangers of AI because again, in the first movie, okay, well, let me say this: I felt like they were going for nostalgia in this movie, which they did in the second one as well. But I feel like they did even more in this one. Like they really wanted to get back to those people that seen this movie in fucking theaters in 1982 when it came out. And when they called him Master Control, that was the bad guy in the first one. The first one's really not even the guy who created him, Dillinger, who's the great grandfather or grandfather
I
of
think they
this
said
guy.
grandfather, Julian Dillinger, who's played by Evan Peters in this
Um,
movie. That will be his grandfather, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. Yeah.
like his whole thing, like he was a bad guy because Kevin Flynn made a game and they're both programmers.
Yes.
And he programmed some shit to make it seem like he made the game. So he got pushed to the top of the company as CEO and started doing a bunch of just crazy shit. And he makes this program, the Master Control program, which is supposed to control all the other programs they use. This program goes rogue. It becomes an AI in itself. It goes rogue. It's trying to hack into it hacked into the Kremlin. It's trying to hack into the Pentagon. It's doing all types of silly shit that you like, yo, what? But I'm gonna say this. I don't think you maybe now I'm really trying to wrap my head around how to say it because the movies really do feel disjointed.
Like there's
Like,
not connection from the original 80s one to the second one and now
yeah,
to this.
so in the 80s one, they ended on a high note. Everybody finishes. Kevin Flynn's the CEO of the company. When you go back to the second movie, you find out that Kevin Flynn has been missing since the 80s.
Okay.
And it pushes forward to his son and some shit happens and it's not a bad movie. Honestly, I feel like I want to say I feel about these movies how I feel about Suicide Squad, and it's not because these are a lot better than
I was about to
Suicide
say
Squad.
that's not a
But
heavy endorsement of this.
yeah, but they're not great movies, but they're enjoyable movies. They're entertaining. I'm
Yeah.
not watching when I went back to go watch the second one, and I'm looking at the CGI like shit. I mean, but again, it's 2010, so when they started doing that, and they had a young Jeff Bridges in there, but like I said, it felt disjointed. Like I said, watching so the second one it has him missing. His son goes to look for him in this world. In this one, so you've seen it, he has a son, but you don't know what he did
Yeah.
at the end of the movie, and I'm gonna tell a little bit. You see Ares holding up a picture of somebody, but like you said, if you haven't seen that movie, you don't know
You
who
don't
that
have
who
that
that is.
context. Yeah.
And they did not give it to you in this movie. They gave you like I'm trying to think of the best. You seen was it Vantage Point?
Vantage Point. I don't think
Vantage
so.
Point, I believe so. It came out in like probably around the same time Tron Legacy did, maybe
Okay, so
a
early
year earlier or
2010s.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole movie is set around, I want to say it's an assassination, and it's told from multiple people's viewpoints. So these people may not ever interact with each other. Or how about this Crash?
Okay, that gives me
So
like Crash or Magnolia, like movies where it's like told from different
So
perspectives.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
okay.
the in Vantage Point and Crash, everybody don't always all the main characters don't necessarily meet each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And this person might meet this person way later in this story. But with this one, it's three completely different stories. It's a crazy ass take, man. Like I said, it's I like the idea of them. I feel like they all could have been better. It does feel like each time, and I didn't even look to see that which is my fault, to see who directed and wrote each one because it feels like somebody different wrote and directed each film.
Yeah, like the okay, so that's good context to know because honestly, this is a rare experience I get, right? Where I get to watch a movie that's part of a franchise or part of a bigger universe, and I don't have any context of the other movies. That's like a rare
Yeah,
experience for me. So like I know we have this conversation a lot, like just in the film community about like the MCU or other cinematic universes about how sometimes you get so deep into it that and there's so much which doesn't necessarily apply here 'cause there's only 3 movies, right? But you get into, too deep into, 10, 20 plus films in, and for a casual a casual person who just watches movies regularly, they're not, like, deep into it like, you or I are. They might have missed, like, the past 2 or 3 movies, and now, like, do they have the full context of the MCU and what's
right.
going on at this time and where we are with these characters? So like I've always wondered like what is that experience like for that casual film fan who goes in to watch something and doesn't have the full context of what came before? Like can you just watch it and does the movie stand alone on its own without you having that context? So I'm glad I actually got that experience with this movie. I
I'll
was
say the only constant of these movies is Kevin Flynn. That's really
the
that's
only
really
constant
it.
from the 80s movie up to this one, like in all three, he's the only constant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and honestly, from the first one to the second one, so in this one they mentioned the grid. In the third movie, they mentioned the grid and they
Yeah.
mentioned what the grid is. The grid has existed in all three of them. But in the second movie, it kind of makes it feel honestly, the second movie kind of makes it feel like they were kind of getting rid of the first movie in a little bit, some type
Like
of
it was
way.
retconning a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because he mentions in the second movie, he says, myself, um, and Alan created the grid. And he says, I created they say Alan created Tron, but he says it in a way he says, me, Tron, and Clue created the grid. Something like that. He said
Yeah.
we were, but then like if you watch the first one, Clue was around in the first one, and Clue got deleted within like the first 5 minutes of the movie. So it's like,
Okay,
okay, you
okay.
created another one and you called him Clue again, or are you like I said, are you retconning this? And they really don't talk about the first movie. He talks about, hey, I was in the grid, but him telling the story makes it seem like he's been in a grid because he's been creating the grid, not that you got pulled into the grid by this evil program.
Got you, got you. Okay. Yeah, this kind of helps because like I didn't really have a lot of the context before, and I know when I was watching it and they were doing like all the the how movies do those news reel not montages of different reporters giving you
Hmm.
basically exposition. Um, I was watching, I'm like, I know that there's so much context about previous movies that I'm missing through this,
And it ain't that much.
but it doesn't seem like it was that much,
That's
honestly.
and that's the fucked up part because again, his son in the second movie, he goes like I say he gets sucked into the grid. Clue is evil. He becomes evil. He does like some genocidal shit about new programs that came about. Okay. And they defeat Clue. He exits the system with, I'm gonna just say, somebody that's like Ares or similar to, well, Ares is like them.
Yeah,
He exits, and like I said, the movie ends. So when you see this one, and the only answer you have is Sam Flynn steps down, and he puts these two people that we've never heard of. And again, in the first one, you never heard of Sam Flynn. He doesn't exist. We don't
Yeah.
know who his mother is either. That's all I'm saying. Like it's so disjointed. Where I mean, there's time skips, but like there's nothing filling in the blank outside of that those newsreels, and they don't give you a lot of information.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, that gives me a little bit more context actually. So for this one, if you have Ares, right, who is Master Control, created by Julian Dillinger, who's the grandson of Ed Dillinger, who was the
Who
villain
created the
of
first?
the first Tron movie. Okay,
Well,
got it.
again, hold on. He wasn't a real villain. Master Control
Master Control was
was
the
the
villain,
villain.
and Ed Dillinger created Master
Yeah.
Control.
So
Okay,
like,
got you.
so one more thing, one last thing I'm gonna say. Up until this movie, the only people that really knew that the grid existed were Kevin Flynn and Alan. Everybody else is going off of this, I think he said it in the interview on there. Like he's like, it's going to merge. Our two worlds are going to merge. The outside world is going to come here, and we're going to go there. But like again, if you hear a nigga saying some shit like that, it's like nigga, what are you talking about? Are you fucking insane? And that's what people thought. So when he went missing, niggas didn't think he got stuck in the grid. They thought he ran off.
Yeah,
So like so that just added to it. So like you get to this movie and multiple companies know about this, or two companies. The Dillinger's kids should not know about this at all
yeah,
because he got thrown out of the company at this point. So like I said, it's really weird how they throw them together because they're connected. But then again, you're like, okay, did they forget that they did this in that last
yeah.
movie?
It's like they're
And how?
connected, but they do things to retcon what they did previously within each world.
Yeah,
Okay.
kinda.
Yeah, that okay. I mean, I've seen franchises kind of get away with that before.
Every
Um,
movie.
not every movie. Well, no, no, not every movie. Well, the X-Men, the Fox X-Men movies were doing that for a little minute of like, yeah, well, I know
Now,
we said this before, but we're
what
gonna switch this up.
like what do you mean? You mean X-Men 1, 2, and 3 were different each movie?
No, not X-Men 1, 2, and 3. I'm talking like the entirety, like X-Men 1, 2,
When
and 3, and then Origins, and then Wolverine. Y'all are telling me this takes place in the same universe, but y'all are retconning stuff.
so
Or like Days of
that's what I
Future Past,
mean.
stuff like that. Like,
That's what I mean. It's not every movie with them
yeah,
still. It's like
yeah.
sections of movies.
Yeah, but no, you're right. It wasn't every single movie. So for this one, it seems like they've made a few liberties then. And so, because to your point, Ed Dillinger wasn't the original villain, Master Control was. In this case, Julian Dillinger, played by Evan Peters, who actually does a pretty good job, by the way. 100% a villain. There's no ifs,
No,
ands, or buts.
hey,
There's no
so
questioning it. There's no maybe he could be a decent person. Like, no, he's a
and,
straight asshole.
and this is a thing where and I'm gonna let you get back to him being a villain. In the second one, Julian has in the second one, Dillinger has a son or grandson, I don't fucking remember,
Hmm.
who works at Incom. He works there.
Okay.
And he does some shit one time, and he's played by Cillian, or I don't know, is it Cillian or Chillian Murphy?
Killian Murphy.
Killian Murphy. He's played by Killian Murphy, and he does some type of hacking, and that's it. You never hear from him again. So again, when I come into this movie, I'm like, okay, yeah, I just watched Legacy.
Yeah.
I know I see
Yeah.
I see the second generation of two of these people. I have to see them in Aries. So again, when they're talking about how he's running the company, you would think that you know, Killian Murphy's character would be in there. Like I said, it's same different. He's not even played by a different actor. It's two completely different characters, and
Yeah.
they kind of just gloss over. But he was 100% the fucking bad guy from the beginning of the fucking movie.
Yeah, they set it up very early. Like first it's, he's doing this big reveal, which I don't know if this was a thing in Tron before. I'm guessing not, since they're treating it like a big reveal, but basically they are bringing programs from the digital world into the real world, like our
Never
actual
before.
reality.
Never
So
before.
yeah, so they
Only one person had done that, and that was Sam Flynn.
okay.
After Kevin Flynn did some extra programming.
Okay, so but besides that, this is the first time in this world where digital programs have been brought into the real world in any capacity.
Hmm.
So he's doing this. The movie sets up in the news exposition montage that Incom and Dillinger are under new leadership, and they're both essentially competing, these two tech giants trying to get to what we eventually find out is this thing called the permanence code, which is this code that allows you to bring digital programs into the real world and have them last in the real world. Because to the point I was about to make, when Dillinger presents this new technological advancement to all his investors to say, hey, y'all, we can bring digital programs to the real world, he fails to mention that they only last in the real world for 30 minutes
Mhm.
for they time out and die. So he needs this thing called the permanence code.
29.
29 minutes, you're right.
Because
My bad for
it,
rounding up.
no, because it was so odd that it
It
was
was
like
very
so
obscure number.
specific
Like it was
for like
29
20,
minutes on the dot. I'm like, why
and
not just
it
make it a half
and,
hour?
and maybe it's something I missed in the previous two films, but I don't think it is, and it's just so very random.
It was very obscure for no reason. I was like, why is it 29 minutes like on the dot? Like I wasn't understanding it. But that's the parameters they have to work in. So both Incom's under new leadership in this movie. It's played the character is Eve Kim, but played by Greta Lee, who actually she did a good job. Really, all the performances in here weren't bad. They were okay.
There was one part that pissed me off, and it was towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let it
I
run
don't
for
really
now.
even think the performances aren't what I had a problem with in this movie. It's the dialogue, but we'll get to that in
No, oh
a
my fuck.
minute. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
We get to that.
We'll get to that. But so Greta Lee, who
Also, I'm sorry, it was one performance, but
we'll figure out which one because I think I know who you're talking about.
it's not hard.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. So Eve Kim, played by Greta Lee, is the CEO of Incom. You have Julian Dillinger, who's Ed Dillinger's grandson, the CEO of Dillinger, basically. So they're competing to try to find the permanence code to be able to bring these digital programs into the real world. Dillinger is kind of getting, I guess you could say, a head start by presenting to investors first, but he still
Mhm.
hasn't solved the problem because these programs can only last in the real world for 29 minutes on the dot. So I guess my question on that is, if is the permanence code a thing that was in Tron before, that is just now being brought more relevant in this movie because we're trying to bring digital programming into the real world? Or is that
Um,
exclusive to Tron Ares as like a concept of this code that exists that basically makes digital programs permanent in the real world?
so I'm gonna clean up one thing.
Okay.
You know, the whole reason that he was presented to these investors is because he was getting ready to lose control of the company because he is young and
Yeah.
he is rash and he does things in a certain way. Investor or the board doesn't really like him,
Yeah, they do
and
set that
his
up early on that the board is not like rocking with him as the new
mhm.
CEO.
And his mother, who used to be on the board, is trying to help him. Like, hey,
Yeah.
this is what you need to do. Hey, did you tell them about this 29 minutes? So like him showing them and them not knowing really sets like, yo, we about to make a shit ton of fucking money, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it is a thing already. But you don't know. You don't know that what it is until he gets it. When he gets it, or I'm sorry, actually you do. When Greta finds it and she says, "Hey, this kind of looks like a double helix," which is like our DNA.
Yeah.
So in the second one, like I said, these new programs come out of nowhere. I forget what they were called. But they just pop up one day. So he's building his world in the grid, and I'm still trying to figure out where he was going with that because this nigga did nothing in that original grid world that you would be like, yeah, this is a good thing to keep building. Um, so he's building this grid world, and one day these fucking programs just sprout. So they just come out of, they just exist at this point. So, like I said, Clue does a coup and he tries to kill Flan. He kills Tron, or we think he killed Tron. And then he goes and wipes out all of these other programs.
This is in the first one
And
or the second one?
the second one.
Second one. Okay. Okay.
And in doing so, one program survives. Her name is Cora. And you see her code when she gets injured and Kevin Flynn is still taking it apart and And I think it's, if I'm recalling correctly, his son goes, they kind of look like our DNA or some shit like that. I
Okay.
don't remember really.
So that's when the
And,
permanence code gets like
wh-
introduced.
which is
Okay.
crazy. I don't remember, and I just watched the shit Monday.
It's a damn shame,
But
ain't it?
so that's when it gets introduced, and they're like, oh, there's so much in her DNA. There's so much that we can learn from her DNA. It can cure diseases. It can do that. It can do this. It can do that. And that's it. Like they don't make it seem like it's a big deal in this movie. It's
Yeah.
just like the big deal is they came out of nowhere. They just started existing, and she's the last one. And this world is about to explode, or it's about to be destroyed. Take her with you. So when you start watching this one, they're like, we're looking for the permanence code. You're like, I don't know what the fuck that is until, like I
Got you.
said, if you even in the second one, like I feel like you had to pay attention to this shit to be like the permanence code is her DNA from to throw the shit together because it's not a big deal, or it wasn't a big deal in the second one at all, and it didn't exist in the first
Okay, got you, got you. So, well, it's essentially the plot of this. Like it's a
one. Entire
very
plot.
it's the entire plot of this one. It's a very core part of where this movie is at. And with in the interest of not giving too much away, we'll just say Ares slash Master Control, played by Jared Leto, is created similar in the first to what you said in the first movie, created by Julian Dillinger this time, not Ed, to basically be the head control of all the other programming at Dillinger. And the only problem with that is, and Dillinger's mom, Julian's mom, kind of says this, like, you think you're in control right now, you're really not.
Mm-hmm.
He starts kind of barking commands at Ares. He does a few things, and I love how the movie set this up in the first scene.
Yeah,
A lot of the concepts in this were set up in that first opening scene with
100%.
Dillinger when he's presenting Ares to the investors, because he
I'm
says,
gonna say before he even introduced him, when he was creating him,
yeah,
and the way he created him is so like, I'm not gonna say what happens, but the way he's creating him for him to be how he is, I mean, I guess you could think Doomsday. If you know the history of Doomsday from Superman, how
yeah,
he was created, that's
yeah,
how Ares was created.
yeah. So very similar concept. I think that's a good idea. Honestly, like it was like that when you kind of wake up and realize, like, oh, I'm being played, or you know what I'm saying, like
Hmm.
that. I
Yeah.
feel like Ares had that sort of light switch, flick on for him, and it didn't take long, honestly. Like in that first meeting with the investors, he's like, yeah, Ares is, I think one of the investors even asked him, like, how can you, so okay, so you built the perfect soldier, how do you control him,
Hmm.
how do we know he's 100% in your control? And he basically says, like, well, he's 100% expendable, I have a kill code, and he literally has no choice but to obey me. And Ares kind of just gives him a side look. Oh, for real? Like he kind of just looks at, it's very subtle, but he kind of just looks over at him as soon as he says that. And you see
Hey,
like the hesitation and like, I'm what now?
he put it on thick though. Like you saying all this shit, he's 100% expendable. I can get
Yeah.
rid of this motherfucker whenever.
Yeah.
Like, dog, calm
Yeah, I was
down.
like,
Like,
all right, like he is standing right there. Like he
yeah.
might want to chill out a little
Like
bit.
you do know this is AI that you created. It might want to survive.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it might have a problem with you talking that reckless, is all I'm saying. So I think that was like a good, as far as character development, which I mean we are talking about a computer program here, but still, like I think that was a good setup to kind of give the audience that context, like, hey, look, yes, Ares is, a computer program, but he is starting to develop his own sense of morality, his own consciousness, his own desires, and you see that play out throughout the course of the movie. And I do want to kind of go back to something you were talking about where you said you had a problem with one of the performances. I think I know who you're talking about, but I'll give you the floor to actually kick whoever character's back in.
It's gonna be Jared Leto.
Really? I'm
I mean,
surprised by that.
so I don't, I was okay with it at the beginning at his, clunky dialogue because he's a fucking computer. It's supposed to be clunky. It's supposed
Yeah.
to be computerized. But the more it went on, like I'll say there's a particular scene when him and can't remember, Eva or Eve was in a car
Yep.
going to Econ Tower. And I was like,
Well, he was
and
talking
again,
about the band
so
or
it,
whatever.
it no,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't the band, it was the fucking text messages and shit. So it may
Oh,
be the
yeah.
dialogue in itself. Like, what the like yes, he was created, his mission was to find her. He looked through all her text messages shit. And some of the stuff is like they wanted to make it funny for him, but if he's a program and he's this AI program, he might not necessarily know what private is.
Yeah.
You know, even the way that he's speaking to her, he's speaking to her about some very private matters
Yeah.
that he's very cavalier about, but then he's like, "Oh, but this is private for you." Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but I give that a little bit of a pass because he's not human. He's not gonna understand the
Are you talking
subtleties of
about
he's not gonna understand, like, subtle things you shouldn't say in
Yeah,
conversation.
that's why I said,
Yeah.
I'll put it back on the dialogue. But are you talking about it's either Hassan Minaj or I think it's Arturo Castro?
Yeah, I was talking about, Arturo Castro, yes.
It,
Um,
it it felt very like it
like
was very misplaced. Like, why is
yeah,
this nigga like
he just felt
this?
just very quirky and out of place, but, like, also, I ain't gonna lie, Athena also, I was not a huge fan of her performance either. And I don't think it's Jodie Turner-Smith's fault because I think she's actually a really good actress. I've seen her enough to know that it's not her acting ability. I do think sometimes just when you're not given great dialogue to work with, you just got to make the best of it that you can. And I think she tried to, but it wasn't enough.
Was actually see, and I was okay with her dialogue because as much as a computer that Aries was, she was
Even more.
even more
Yeah.
because again, she's a program. Aries is a program as well, but Aries is a program is AI.
Yeah.
So he's always learning, he's always evolving. The rest of them are just regular programs. They do what they're told to do.
Yeah.
They perform the tasks that they're told to perform. And she does that throughout this movie. And sometimes she does it to people's detriment.
Yeah.
And, like I said, so I didn't mind her dialogue, but I definitely feel you for Arturo Castro. I think that's kind of just the character. That's just the person that he plays.
Yeah.
Almost everything. He was in what was it, Row House with Jake Gyllenhaal,
Okay.
and it was a fight scene, and like he was kind of
The bar
goofy,
fight
and
or is it a different one?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, the first fight scene that he had with him,
Yeah.
and it was just kind of fucking goofy. And it's like, okay, dude, why are you this guy just beat both of y'all up, all y'all up, and you trying to be buddy buddy with him. I mean, he is taking y'all to the hospital, which is pretty nice of him.
It was
but, but
yeah.
but really, what is
I
this?
just wasn't
So
I wasn't the biggest fan, and I don't hate his performance, I just wasn't the biggest fan.
it just didn't fit.
It
I
didn't
don't feel
fit.
like it fit.
Yeah, it didn't fit,
Like
and I
he,
think that the dialogue in this movie was, like, really the biggest weakness to me.
yeah,
Like, this movie is really not that bad, like, I walked out of that going, like, I actually had a pretty decent time with
because
that.
I'll
Um,
wait till the end to do that.
yeah, like, it was just the dialogue was just very shoddy at
Subpar.
certain points to me, like,
Yeah,
it just didn't feel like, it felt like this is gonna sound bad because it wasn't as bad as the dialogue I'm about to say, but it
highest to
sounded
lowest,
Huh?
highest to lowest.
No, I wasn't even gonna say highest to lowest. I wasn't even gonna say highest to lowest. Although highest to lowest is a good example. I was gonna say like not excluding Attack of the Clones. I was gonna say like the Star Wars prequels, like how the dialogue in those movies just felt like very dry in certain scenes and just like very bland. Like that's kind of how the dialogue in
No.
this felt in certain
You
scenes.
think you think this was that bad? I
I
don't well,
I literally
I'm saying
prefaced it by saying
that
it's not
bad, but
that bad, but it's
I
a
no,
similar is what I could compare it to of like
so
very bland and just very like
I'm saying that bad,
uninspired
but
dialogue.
I don't think that their dialogue in the prequels were that bad. The third one had some of the best dialogue
It's the best of the
out
bullshit.
of all of
I
them.
will say that. Of the bullshit, 3 has the best of the bullshit, but that doesn't make
Mm,
it not bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I actually don't mind Revenge of the Sith. Like I don't think Revenge of the Sith is a bad movie. I think the other 2 are bad. I don't think Revenge of the Sith is a bad movie. I just don't think it's that great. But
I, I love it because I just got you to go on a little tangent.
you
Uh,
know, it yeah. With
but
with
no,
with
yeah,
this, yes, you might. um
the dialogue was, and like I said, it wasn't bad all the way through, but it was very spotty at times.
yeah.
A lot of things felt misplaced. Like it felt like they were trying to make different movies with different, like the Hassan Minaj's character and the whatever assistant he was with that I don't think she's ever named. Like that felt like a different movie from when even Ares was on the screen, and
Yes.
that felt like a different movie from when Seth was on the screen. And again, with even with the dialogue, I'm gonna say not just dialogue, but the script itself, because who the fuck is Seth?
Yeah.
Like I thought they were dating at one point,
He
and it just get and then it's like, no, he's just a friend. But like, what does he
What does
do?
he do? I was kind of confused by that too. I was like, what is his role? Like, does he work at Incom, or y'all just like
Yeah,
work besties? Like, what is he? Like,
because
what is his purpose?
they have a very casual relationship, and I think they show I think Aries watched a video with him, her, Hassan, and Dillinger when
Hmm.
they were younger. So they all know each other from school or something. But still, like there was just so many things. I don't want to say so many because, like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's just not a great movie. And when you keep taking and they're working only on nostalgia at this point because 82, 2010, 2025 all of these movies are 15 this one was 15 years after the second one. The other one was almost what?
I was
Almost
saying,
30
yeah, I was
years.
about to say a lot longer than 15 years.
So, you're
From the
banking on
early
the
20,
nostalgia of these
yeah,
movies, and they're really just good fun movies. And the CGI in the CGI in them isn't really that great to be like, yeah, it's no Avatar.
yeah.
That's the best example I can think of. It's not Avatar, and I'm somebody that don't even really give a shit about Avatar after the fucking 20-year wait.
Yeah, and I'm with you. It's one of those like waiting this long between projects. Like I don't think the Tron. And granted, I'm coming from the perspective of someone who didn't see the original Tron movies. I'm sure Tron has a cult following and a lot of
And you
people who
weren't
love it.
born. I think that's the biggest thing. We weren't born or we weren't alive
Yeah,
when this shit came out. Oh, that was around the same time as like I said, Star Wars,
yeah,
Tron, Back to the Future. Because
that's
I'm gonna be
fair.
honest with you, when I go back and watch the original Star Wars, I'll be like, this shit ain't that good either. So like the way they talk about fucking episode 1, 2, and 3. Hey, I don't give a shit. Say what you gonna say, dog. Say what you gonna say.
I don't even want to like dignify that opinion with the response.
You
Like
think 4, 5, and 6 are that great of a movies?
those are the best Star Wars movies we have. Yes, yes.
Three is the best one.
Lord
Hands
have
down. Three is the best
mercy.
one. Three is
What?
the best one, hands down.
Who am I hosting a podcast with?
Three is the best one, hands down.
I don't I don't want to dignify that opinion with the response.
Don't, because it's gonna be a bad one. 3 is the best one.
Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars
3 is
movie
the best
game.
one. Three has the best. 3 has the best. Like actually, 2 might have the best lightsaber fights. 3 has the best. But I'm gonna just say that they do.
Okay, if you're just gonna go off lightsaber fights
I'm
and
not though.
nothing
I'm not
else,
though. It has the
sure,
best
I'll give you.
dialogue. It
I'll
has the
give
best
you.
dialogue. It has the best story.
Get the fuck
You
out of
think
here.
4, 5, and 6 has good dialogue?
It's better than the prequels.
No,
Yes.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
When's the last time you watched Attack of the Clones?
Attack of the Clones.
Be honest.
Whenever I said that I was gonna start watching Star Wars again, and I stopped at Attack of the Clones. I finished Attack of the Clones.
So it
Did I
was
finish Attack
recent.
of the Clones?
You watched Attack of the Clones recently, and you think that dialogue was good?
Within the last 2 months.
Well, you're lying to me right
I don't
now,
think
bro.
so. I don't think Star Wars has good dialogue.
You're right. Star Wars generally is not known for
I
great
don't think it
dialogue.
does. But I
But to say
definitely
that
think
the
that
prequels,
I think
which are
the prequel
notoriously
dialogue.
written terribly, like those are badly written movies.
I will say there are some bad anything with Jar Jar Binks, terrible dialogue, 100%. Give you that.
Yes.
But that's it. Anything, and I mean his scenes. The rest of it is so much better, bro.
Bro, go watch all of Hayden Christensen's scenes in Attack of the Clones and tell me with a straight face.
When is the last time you watched 4, 5, and 6?
Well, I've watched 4 and 5 within the last year. I'm not gonna lie, 6 has been a minute. It's been a minute since I've seen Return of the Jedi. But I've watched 4 and 5 within the last year.
She goes, "I love you." I know, which is a fucking ice cold ass
It's an iconic line, bro. I'm not doing this with you right now.
Han Solo is an ice cold ass nigga, bro. This nigga said, "Yeah, I know."
It's some cold. It's some much colder lines in 4, 5, and 6, the actual original Star Wars movies, than there are in the entirety, of the prequels.
Again, there are some 100% iconic lines, but to say that the dialogue was good, bro.
I didn't say good. You didn't hear me say good. I said better than the prequels. And that is just true. I'm not here. What Joe Budden say? This is a fact. I'm not here to debate you. I'm not here to ask how you feel about it. I'm not
That ain't no fucking
asking.
fact, nigga.
I'm
Hey,
telling you
so
something.
this is what we got to do, bro. Because we talked about it last week before our mishap,
We do need to
and
have a Star
it
Wars
didn't make it.
episode. Now
But
that I
we
know
gonna
that
have to
these are your
do it.
opinions.
We gonna have to do it in sections. So
Yeah.
1 through 3, 4 through 6.
Do
We
we?
really don't have to do 7 through
I'm about
9.
to say, do we have to do? Do we have to do 7 through 9? Because I
So
would prefer not to do that.
I feel like we should, off the simple fact that they're trying to make 10, 11, 12.
And we can do that when 10, 11, 12 come along. I would much rather forget that we were promised Black Jedi and really
Oh my fucking God. They just fucked my man.
and
You
really
know what?
dude was just a confused stormtrooper who
Nigga.
who got his ass whooped within the first couple minutes of that scene. That was the craziest pump fake ever. And I'm still kind of mad at Lucasfilm / Disney for doing that
Like,
to us.
he didn't even have a little bit of Jedi power,
Like
which is
nothing.
crazy because
Nothing.
they, what you see, I don't know if Leia wasn't originally a fucking Jedi.
I mean, she's Anakin's daughter, so she's gonna be force
That
sensitive.
don't mean that ain't how the Force works, dog.
You know, we're off topic. I'm gonna get us back on track because
you did this. You did this.
I'm not letting you give any more of your bad Star Wars takes over this.
You did this, nigga.
Over this
you start talking about Star Wars
over a review of this mid Tron movie. I'm not.
You should have brought up the fucking subpar highest to lowest then.
Well, no, because you think you was gonna go on a rant about that because you just for whatever reason find every moment you can to kick that movie's back in. Like I don't know
because before we
I don't
get
know
back
what
on
Spike
track,
Lee did to you,
it
bro.
Doesn't make sense to have Jeffrey Wright and Denzel Washington in a fucking movie, and that shit is ass. The dialogue was ass. They did not make the dialogue better by them being great actors. There was no saving that shit.
I mean, I don't think actors can. It takes a hell of an actor, and even as you can see, even a hell of an actor can have trouble doing it. Like if your dialogue is terrible, like it's really not gonna do much for the actor if their performance is, even if their performance is, and I think Denzel's performance in Highest to Lowest is good. It doesn't save the dialogue. Yeah, I do. But like it doesn't save the dialogue of that movie because the dialogue is what it is. Like I have to deliver these lines. I can try to deliver them to the best of my ability, but if they're bad, they're bad.
I think dialogue can be good if everybody doesn't have bad dialogue.
That's
if
fair.
If one or two people have bad dialogue, cool. Like I said, even with this movie, we're not saying all the dialogue was terrible because, like I said, Evan Peters, bro.
I think he gave the best performance in this. Actually,
every scene he was in, he fucking crushed it, bro.
Evan Peters had the best and most layered performance in this movie. I think
there is one person that I want to. First, we're gonna talk about the beautiful queen, Jodie Turner. But there's a black man in this movie that you never see his face. And they treat this nigga like Wizard Kelly.
Bro, get the fuck out of here.
And it's his security guard, the one that his hand security, the one that shot the laser.
Yeah.
So weird, oddly enough, bro, I know his voice from 24. He was on 24 for a bunch of seasons. So every time I heard his voice, I'm like, hey, is that Curtis? That's Curtis. I don't know nigga's real name, but that's the nigga's name on 24.
You said that's Curtis. Don't you love how actors get stereotyped or typecast as a TV show roles? Because I ain't gonna lie, my man's Jerome from Snowfall will always be Jerome from Snowfall.
Dog.
I will never see that actor as anyone else. I don't care what else he plays.
He's a good actor too.
Yes, he's a really good actor, but he is Jerome. He is Uncle Jerome in everything to me from now on. He will never live that down.
I'm sorry, bro, because it's been a minute since we done been off track like this.
Yeah, well,
it's like
that's a testament to this movie more so than it is our rants. Like, no disrespect to Tron Ares, but like, just to be straight up, bro, they create an AI program. AI program wants to be a real boy like Pinocchio, and so then he switches up on his creator. That's this movie. Like that's essentially this movie.
I will say they took an element from 24.
What did they take from 24?
Which is, how far is everything?
Bro, they acknowledge that though in this movie though to an extent. They do acknowledge that. When
him and Eve, you know what? I'm gonna throw some spoilers out there for the simple fact that this, like I said, this is a very niche fucking film.
Yeah, this movie feels like Tron feels like the type of franchise that got a cult audience and a cult following.
100%.
So it's like if you fuck with it, you fuck with it. But if you're not on the train by now, you're not jumping on this late.
So when the scene where him and Eve escaped after leaving the grid, and they hop in the van. They're driving to. I think they're in New York City. They never say what city they're in,
Yeah.
but they're driving to the city. Again, he only has 30 minutes. I'm sorry, 29 minutes
Yeah.
to get from point A to point B. They do that after they've made a pit stop, stolen another car, did 100 miles all the way there. But then when Athena has a fucking spaceship,
She gets there in like 2 seconds.
well, no, I still, she was still slow. She was
Yeah.
slow as shit. I mean, it felt like 2 seconds because of how
Because
like
of how it
she's
was
flying there,
edited. Yeah.
how they edited it. But like at the same time, the shit was moving slow as fuck. She's going over water
Well, to be
to
fair,
get
that was
there.
a large that spaceship. I don't see that spaceship being able to pick up speed the way it should. Like that was huge. That thing is huge. Like that, it looks like
Bro, have you seen our the when I say our, I mean the US government, the Navy.
yeah,
They have the largest carriers in the world. I think it might be somebody might have one larger than us. I can't remember who it was, but we ha- on average we have the largest carriers in the world. You know how fast these fucking things go, bro?
fast as hell, I'd imagine.
So, like, if you're that big, you have a big engine.
And this is a computer generated spaceship as well, so it ain't like it has to obey like real
Yeah,
world laws.
which we seen in the movie that it doesn't obey laws, like the
Yeah,
that little a or grid screen that comes out of the vehicles.
yeah,
That shit,
OP. That
like
shit is OP.
in the program, it makes sense.
In the
All right,
real
that
world,
makes
that shit
sense.
is OP. I'm
It's
sorry,
like, okay,
that shit is cheating.
how is it able to sustain, but then also like for so long, but then people just walk up to it and make it go away when they want to.
Yeah.
Like it just so like I said, in the real world, that motherfucker should have been cruising there. They should have been there in seconds.
That's fair. I will give you that. I I wish I had more to say about this movie, but I kind of don't. Like, it's not bad. It's cool. It's a
Yeah, yeah.
nice like. I think this is like a movie I would probably like if video stores were still a thing. This would definitely be something you would rent and watch for a day and take it back.
That's crazy,
Um,
dog, to even
like,
say some shit like that. If
like
video stores even existed. How old are you, grandpa?
shit,
Like,
old as shit. I'm Unk. I am Unk. I have no problem aging myself.
God damn, them
I
niggas said the video stores, man.
if video
So
oh,
you
shit.
wouldn't watch it if it was streaming on Netflix?
I probably would. There you go. If it's streaming and you at the crib, like I said, video stores still exist. if you, if you, if you was at the crib and just scrolling through Netflix or something and wanted to pop something on, this is definitely a perfect. This movie fits in that bucket. But it's not anything that really moves you or like it's not. It is not a movie that I think we're going to be discussing by the end of the year. I think. Um, I'm gonna give this like a probably like a 6. Honestly, it's okay. It's fine. You can have a good time with it and just kind of sit back, shove popcorn in your face, and just enjoy. But it's not something that is, I think, going to be thought provoking in any way or anything that's gonna go like when you walking out the theater like, oh shit, like that was just one of the ones I got to tell somebody about. This isn't that. It has a lot of shoddy moments, particularly with the dialogue. A lot of the performances I think are pretty good, but there's a few that are very distracting and I think out of place. I do think Jared Leto does a good job, and I do want to shout out Evan Peters. I think he far and away has the best performance in this out of the rest of the cast. And I think the set pieces and the action scenes are actually pretty cool. Some of the concepts they have now,
Yeah.
like me coming in with no context about Tron, like I'm like the set pieces and the action and the digital fighting in this movie is my first exposure to that. So I thought the way they set it up and portrayed it in this movie was actually pretty cool. And like I said, made me interested enough to at least want to go back and check out the older Tron movies to kind of at least see like do those kind of hold up to what was presented in this. So I'm gonna give this one a 6.
I honestly I'm gonna go kind of high. I'm gonna go 7 for I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Again, I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's a very okay movie, which, giving it a 7, I get it. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself. So I'm gonna give it a 7. Like I said, the fight scenes were good. Um, I felt like maybe Dillinger's team of programs was a little over fucking powered.
A little, nigga, a little.
these these motherfuckers, what, 5 of them? beat up like 80 niggas, dog.
Bro, when I don't even want to go too deep into that scene because I don't want to go too deep into spoilers, but I'm like, bro, ain't no way y'all all getting y'all ass whooped by
Yeah.
these five. It's five of them and like 7,000 of y'all. Like, stop
And
playing with me, bro.
he does have name programs, which is like I said, like Microsoft Word is not gonna be a name program.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So he sent some name programs and I forgot to mention fucking was it Cameron Monaghan? The nigga from
yeah. Cameron Monaghan, yeah,
damn.
he's been in
Why
a
am I
few
forgetting the name
things.
of this show? The
That's a
show we met him on.
Shameless.
Shameless.
Yeah,
Yeah, from Shameless. He plays Cal Kestis in Fallen Jedi, Last Survivor. The nigga I guess a bunch of his scenes got cut. So like
I was very confused because he was literally like in one scene and then was not in the rest of the movie. I was like, why did you even cast him?
yeah,
Like, you could have just got a throwaway for that.
which is a question I feel like that's a question we've been asking a lot this year.
Why
Why are
did
you
you even
casting
cast
these
this
people
person?
to cut
Yes,
them?
yes,
But like I said, the fight scenes were good. I particularly liked the part when he was fighting Athena at the end. Like I said, the way that those little beams don't make sense because they're supposed to stay. When they were fighting with the sticks, those beams were not staying. They would come up and disappear, come up, disappear. And he did one shit where like to go get his disc, he waved it and then he stepped on like the string part
yeah.
and like jumped up, which I thought was like, all right, that was fucking cool. Evan Peters, bro. Again, so
He's the best thing about this movie.
his dialogue, hands down, the best dialogue. Even though with his the scenes with his mom, I don't think she had particularly strong dialogue, but she had a moral compass.
She was
And
necessary for his character development. I'll say
yeah,
that she
it
was
was
a
very,
necessary
very
piece.
necessary for him. And I felt it because she told him, she said, okay, I'm about to drop it down. Actually, I'm dropping to 6'5" because now I'm thinking about it. I had this question earlier.
I was gonna say seven kind of high, but I was gonna let you cook.
What the fuck do they do? Incoms is supposed to make video games, sell video games.
Yeah,
They don't say what else they do there. And they didn't say it in the first two.
they do kind of in the end after everything's
Yeah,
been
and it
resolved,
now
but
that they got permanents and shit, yeah.
before that, no, it's really just video games. That's pretty
But
much
then
all you hear about.
Dillinger, the nigga, like, okay, are you a military contractor? Obviously you're not because you're trying to get into it by creating these soldiers.
Yeah,
What the fuck? Like, what do they sell? So like,
hopes
I
and
mean, and I
dreams
know
apparently. Like shit.
and you can poke holes in almost any movie. But I feel like Tron might have some of the bigger holes that you don't have to do a lot of poking.
Yeah,
And that's the whole series, all of them, 1, 2, and 3. Like I said, I didn't I didn't hate all the dialogue. I felt like every outside of Evan Peters, I felt like everybody had moments of bad dialogue.
that's actually fair. Every single character, actually.
I feel
Yes,
like every single person
yes,
did. Even when the chick that only said like 3 or 4 words, the one that was with Hassan Minaj, terrible.
yeah,
she ain't say shit, but no, take nigga hat, no hats. Like,
yeah. Her character was a throwaway kind of though, but
yeah,
yeah,
it was a lot of throwaway characters in this fucking movie. Didn't make sense. This whole grid thing, they like I said, they don't explain it enough. They should throw a little more explanation into it. Like it's supposed to be your computer, so it's supposed to be inside your computer.
yeah,
And if your computer is connected to internet somehow, it connects to other computers. So that's what it is. But it's just it happens so fast and frequently. I'll say the dialogue between Evan Peters and Ares actually might be the worst. Now that I'm thinking about it, because he comes on screen as a voice, as a disjointed body, and he always a head, and he's speaking to Ares inside the system. So Ares can't actually hear him speaking. He has to type his words in for him to understand it.
hmm
And same thing when Ares is inside the grid, Dillinger can't hear him. So when he's speaking back to him, it comes up on as words on the screen. And they kind of flip back and so I don't want to say it's the dialogue. It might just be the directing of it because they flip back and forth between him in the real world, him in the grid. And I
hmm
think that's what kind of made it bad to me. You could have kept it in one section for this scene.
yeah,
They said I thought the action was good. Obviously, it was a bit over the top with them being out into the real world. It kind of threw me off. Like a lot of some of the decisions were dumb. Like something just cut a fucking police car clean in half, and you niggas didn't think, you know what, something's going on in this city, and we need to get someone else here for help.
Yeah,
Yo,
it took them
this
way too
lady just
long to realize, like, how much, like, shit was going left.
yeah, this lady just disappeared in front of us, like disintegrated in front of us. That's not some shit that just happens, bro. Like,
Yeah, no, the response time from which I mean, we've had this conversation in movies before, but the way like the police in this movie were just like not on it with like all the very obvious clues you had that like some very not normal shit was happening, it
yeah,
was kind of alarming. Like it took them to the end of the movie to really like start locking in and like addressing the fact that Dillinger is basically unleashing digital programs onto the real world. Like it took them a little longer to realize and not even realize that exact piece, right? But just like to do some form of investigating of like, hey, something's not right here. This is not normal shit that's happening. We should probably look into
even
this.
so, even that, I was like, how did they get a team of motherfuckers to go get him that quickly? No arrest warrant. Certainly, they didn't have one because right now they don't have any evidence that the nigga did anything.
They kind of
Like,
do. They
what
kind of
what
do.
evidence did they have?
I mean, if it's a program that came from your grid,
How did they know
or
that?
I mean, if Incom was able to figure that out, I'm sure
I'm sure
someone,
income. Well, first they already knew.
yeah,
They already knew. So even like when he hacked their system, they're like, yo, he had something to do with this. I
yeah,
can't prove it, but he had something to do with this.
yeah,
So like you have this rogue program running around the city, blowing shit up, doing whatever the fuck she want to do, Athena. When the police came, like they would get this information from talking to her, to Eve, but the way she was able to just run off, they wasn't about to let that happen.
yeah.
But also, bitch, are you crazy?
Yeah, no, also, yeah,
So, like I said, so it's some things, and I think the script is probably my biggest issue.
that's fair.
Outside of that, like I said, the dialogue wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was pretty okay. Evan Peters had the best dialogue. Having seen the other ones again, it just feels like somebody was like, it feels like all of them feel like fan fiction to me. So the second one feels like fan fiction to the first one. The third one feels like fan fiction to the second one.
Mm,
And that's probably the best way for me to describe this. You know, they want to keep some similarities to it, but they don't want to
yeah,
go all the way. Like I said, the unanswered questions, they do leave hints to say, hey, maybe we make a fourth one. But again, fucking, do I want to wait another fucking 15
yeah, I was
years
about
to
to
see
say
this
the way
shit?
they drop sequels for this franchise, we gonna get that John in like 2047 at this
Yeah.
rate.
We don't, the only person you have from the main cast is Jeff Bridges, who is not doing great. I get he was battling cancer in, what did I say, 2020?
I don't
That's
remember
when
how
he
long
messed
ago
up.
that was that Jeff Bridges got sick.
But he was battling some type of cancer, bro. I'm still trying. I need this nigga to come back for Old Man, the TV show. But that's the only main cast member you still have. The person that created Tron wasn't in this one. We don't know if he's even still alive. I don't know if the actor's still alive, but
Yeah,
he's not present in this movie anymore. From the second one, the only person that you see is Jeff Bridges. Or supposed to, obviously, like I said, for her, the permanence code being her DNA, you see a picture of her at the end of the movie. You don't know what the fuck happened to Sam Flynn. They say, hey, he stepped away for family reasons or personal reasons. That's it. We don't see a clip of this nigga.
yeah.
We don't see him endorsing
You don't
anybody.
see
You
anything from
know,
him.
maybe he went into his own grid. We just don't fucking know. And to be honest with you, it didn't draw up enough intrigue for me to be like, oh yeah, I have to see this fourth movie. It just
Yeah,
doesn't. It's
yeah,
kind of it's really just okay. I mean, to be honest with you.
yeah,
So the last thing I'm gonna say is the only thing that it feels kind of telling, like I said, for this to come out around this time where we're dealing with this much AI and how AI can go rogue and shit. First of all, they've been saying this since the 80s. Look at fucking the Terminator. That whole movie is about a fucking robots, AI programs taking over. The first movie Tron was about it. The second Tron was about it. This Tron is about it. At what point are we gonna stop with this AI shit? Because when the Terminators come, my nigga, are you gonna be prepared?
no, I'm not. Keeping it
We're,
straight being with you right now.
bro, look at all the electronics we use. We are fucked.
Yeah, we're cooked. I'm just keeping it. We're just chalk it, bro. We're cooked. Like at that point, just chalk it. If all these movies haven't shown us that we probably need to change how we're managing this
Really?
AI thing, like reel it in a little bit. Hey, maybe sometimes, and we're seeing this now. Humans don't learn lessons till we learn them the hard way. Unfortunate. So sometimes
Voted
it
this nigga in office a second
yeah,
time.
sometimes humans just have to learn things the hard way. I'm praying AI isn't one of those things, but we are seeing with our own two eyes evidence that sometimes you just got to see it to believe it. Me telling you some shit, me telling you fire is hot and it's gonna burn you. That might not be enough for some people. Some people got to put their hand in that motherfucker and be like, "Oh damn, I got third-degree burns." For that, like I probably shouldn't do that again. I'm praying AI isn't the case here because I wish we have enough cautionary tales out here, this movie being one of them, but I just don't know. But if y'all have seen Tron Ares, do feel free to jump into the comments, have the discourse, let us know y'all thoughts on it, or just on Tron as a franchise in general. What are your thoughts? Always continue to like, comment, subscribe. We do appreciate all that support. And until next time, this is the Real Junkies. Peace.